Good morning from Hogg Middle School. My name is Miss Stephanie. I'm currently outside in our school garden. I am an educator from Urban Harvest that has been working with Hogg Middle School and Miss Goodman for a couple of years now. And today I wanted to show you that even though our school year has been looking a little different, our garden here is still thriving. So we're going to do a quick tour and go over some of our rules, because this year I don't know if we're going to be back in school or if we're going to be doing some volunteer days, but I want to get you guys introduced to the garden. All right, everybody, we are at bed number 1, which is the bed closest to our school. Now, the thing that I want us to take note of are all of these beans that are growing. These are actually black-eyed peas, and we have the fresh green pods that you can notice. But the thing that we want to really focus on at this time of year are these dried out pods, because these are going to give us our seeds for us to plant next year. Oh, those are a little gross, so I'll pick another one. So this is bed number 1, and if we were working out here this fall or doing a volunteer day, we're mainly going to be focusing on harvesting these dry pods, keeping them dry so that we have seeds to plant next year. Now we have moved on to bed number 2. Now this bed looks pretty boring, just a ton of green leaves. But the good, exciting part of this bed is actually underneath the ground. These are sweet potatoes that have been growing all through the summer. Now, our garden is mainly dedicated to sweet potatoes. 6 of our 8 large beds are growing with sweet potatoes. So that is going to be one of our really, really big projects this fall to try and get done. Okay, now that I've shown you a little bit of our garden, let's go over some of our rules. Rule number 1 for our garden is we need to treat our garden with respect. The same respect that we would show anything in our classroom or in our home. Because not only is our garden where we grow some of our food to use in our culinary arts class, but our garden is also home to a lot of critters. Frogs, toads, lizards, bugs, all those good things. And we want to make sure that they feel at home out here as well. All right, rule number 2 has to do with harvesting and picking things in our garden. Now, when we are working out here, if we are together as a class, I will give very clear instructions on what is ready to be picked and what things are actually good to be picked. Now, right here I have okra. This okra is not ready to be harvested. It is very small, it's too little, and if we pick it too early, it's not going to develop into something that we want to eat. Now, on the other hand, this okra is much bigger, but it's actually past its edibility. We would want to leave this okra on the plant until it's big and dried out so that we can harvest the seeds. Now, there are also lots of other plants in our garden that aren't here on purpose. Those are weeds. And I don't want anyone to mistakenly come into our garden and pick something like this morning glory leaf and try and eat it. It's not going to taste good, and it might upset your stomach. Now, rule number 3. It actually has to do with safety when we use our tools. Now, my rule for tools here at Hogg Middle School is called the rule of thumb. Take your thumb, put it in your belly button. Our tools should never come above our belly button, whether we're using a small tool like this spade or using a big tool like our shovel, because I don't want any of your beautiful faces to be injured while we are out here in our garden. All right, rule number 4. When we are in our garden, I know, hopefully one day we get to be out here together as a class, but if you have the opportunity to taste something, my rule is that you have to at least try a little bit, and please be polite. Sometimes it's as simple as just giving a little nibble to a sweet potato leaf. Very nutritious. Now, being polite applies to our garden, because when you go over to somebody's house and they offer you food, do you try it and go, oh, gross, ugh? No, you take a polite bite, and if you don't like it, that's all right, but we don't make a big show of it. All right, we've arrived at rule number 5. It's very simple. Have fun while you're in the garden. When we have the opportunity to come out here, we get a chance to reconnect with nature, have a little bit of quiet time, and really experience what it means to be out here growing with our garden.